Max Verstappen definitely turned up the heat in the 2024 Abu Dhabi finale. What we thought would be a standard race quickly became a dramatic showdown, especially after the FIA handed him a 10-second penalty and slapped 2 points on his super license. The Dutch driver didn't hold back in voicing his frustration, especially when it came to the stewards' decisions. So what does this mean for the ongoing tension between Verstappen and the FIA? And will this conflict spill into 2025? More importantly, are there any drivers who could challenge Verstappen, forcing him into the same position Piastri put him in during the race? This isn't just about penalties, there's a bigger story brewing, and we're about to unpack all the drama. Stay with me, because what happened next in Abu Dhabi wasn't just about the race, it was about Max Verstappen's unfiltered reaction and what it means for the future of Formula One. Let's dive in. From the very start, Max Verstappen was on a mission. He saw an opening to pass Carlos Sainz and at least one of the McLaren drivers, Oscar Piastri. However, despite being on the inside line, Max wasn't fully ahead. The result? A collision, and it was Max's fault. The irony here is that Piastri, who had the outside line, made a cheeky comment after the incident, saying the move was fit for a world champion, ouch. But things didn't stop there. While Max fought to get back into the race after serving his penalty, Piastri was stuck at the back of the pack, scrambling to grab a point. And to add more twist, Piastri wasn't exactly in the clear himself. He ended up with a 10-second penalty of his own after a late brake error, which resulted in him hitting the back of Kevin Magnussen's car. Talk about a chaotic race. Piastri's radio message might have been a bit too bold for the moment. Instead of making his point on the track, he decided to voice his frustration over the radio, and it cost him. His penalty came for failing to brake in time and causing a collision with Kevin Magnussen. While this wasn't the smartest move, you can't blame the guy for being frustrated. There was a lot on the line, and mistakes like that could shift the entire Constructors' Championship. But let's not forget what happened next. Charles Leclerc made a stunning comeback, finishing third after starting way down in 19th place. McLaren's Norris had a strong performance too, but it wasn't enough to help Ferrari snatch anything more than second in the standings. All in all, it was a race full of twists and turns, both on the track and behind the scenes. Max Verstappen isn't one to keep his thoughts to himself, especially when it comes to the FIA. After receiving the 10-second penalty, Max showed his displeasure with a sarcastic comment over the radio, asking, "Could we ask for 20 seconds, stupid idiots?" It's safe to say the tensions between him and the FIA are far from over. Ever since the Baku Grand Prix incident, where he went head-to-head with the stewards over a swearing saga, Verstappen's relationship with the governing body has been shaky. The 10-second penalty in Abu Dhabi just added fuel to the fire. And it wasn't just about the penalty itself. Verstappen's reaction mocking the stewards made it clear that the feud could very well continue into the 2025 season. But things got even more interesting when Max spoke about the 2 penalty points added to his super license. Typical Max, he wasn't afraid to voice his opinion, joking about reaching 12 points before his baby's born so he could take some paternity leave. This of course made headlines, especially in the UK, where the media has been keeping a close eye on his relationship with British drivers and the FIA. Max's frustration didn't stop at the penalty. After exiting the pit lane, he sarcastically questioned the FIA's decision-making, saying, "Could we ask for 20 seconds, stupid idiots?" Max is no stranger to speaking his mind, but this time his comments caught the attention of the British media, who have been quite critical of him in the past. Many pointed out that Verstappen's behavior toward the stewards was hardly champion-like. The FIA is supposed to enforce rules. And although their actions might have seemed a little harsh, they were simply doing their job. But Max didn't hold back, making his frustrations crystal clear. British commentators like Martin Brundle and David Croft quickly called him out for disrespecting the referees. It wasn't just about the penalty anymore, it was about how Max was handling the situation, especially with the new, stricter leadership under race director Niels Wittich. Despite this, Verstappen continued to voice his displeasure, making it evident that the tension between him and the FIA is far from over. Could this lead to more controversies down the road? It seems likely. But let's take a step back. While Max's penalty was front and center, there were a few questionable decisions made by the stewards over the weekend in Abu Dhabi. For example, there was an incident where George Russell appeared to impede Liam Lawson, which raised some eyebrows. Then, there was the scenario during the warm-up lap when Norris and Russell seemed to start a lap that wasn't allowed, thanks to Lance Stroll crashing into the barrier. Many have pointed out that the stewards might have missed some key calls, and when you compare these to Verstappen's penalty, it starts to feel like there was a bit of inconsistency in how the rules were enforced. Of course, there's also the ongoing criticism of Verstappen's behavior, but it's clear that the stewards aren't above scrutiny either. That said, there's no denying Max's role in the collision with Piastri. It was his mistake, and the penalty was deserved. But the bigger question remains how much of the FIA's decisions are influenced by politics. Max Verstappen's racing style is well known. He's aggressive, relentless, and always looking for an opportunity to make a move. But there's something to be said about his approach, especially when it comes to defending his position. Verstappen, on the inside line, will do everything he can to block an opponent, even if it means squeezing them to the edge. This is exactly what happened with Piastri during the Abu Dhabi race. Despite not being fully ahead, Max took a risk and it didn't pay off. Interestingly, Piastri's comment after the collision that it was fitting of a world champion adds an extra layer to this rivalry. The McLaren driver was right to call out Verstappen's overambitious move. But in the heat of the moment, Piastri's radio message wasn't the best way to handle the situation. Regardless, this rivalry could evolve in 2025 and beyond, especially if both drivers find themselves fighting for the top spots consistently. With no safety car to help him out, Verstappen had to endure the 10-second penalty in conditions that weren't ideal for a podium finish. His chance to match Lewis Hamilton's record of victories in Abu Dhabi was dashed, and the penalty made it almost impossible for him to recover. But Max isn't one to shy away from voicing his frustration, and as expected, he made sarcastic remarks to the team about the situation. He even joked about collecting more penalty points on his super license before going on paternity leave, a comment that had the media buzzing. This isn't just about one race or one penalty. Verstappen has been at odds with the FIA for a while, ever since the Baku Grand Prix incident. The relationship between him and the governing body is a volatile one, and it's unlikely to calm down anytime soon. Will this carry over into the 2025 season? We'll have to wait and see, but one thing's for sure: Verstappen is going to keep speaking his mind, regardless of the consequences. As the 2025 season approaches, the pressure is mounting on Verstappen, especially with Red Bull's second seat still up for grabs. Sergio Perez admitted that his seat isn't safe, and there's talk of new drivers like Yuki Tsunoda or Liam Lawson possibly joining the team. While they might not be immediate championship contenders, they could put the pressure on Verstappen in ways we haven't seen before. If there's one thing Verstappen doesn't like, it's having someone breathing down his neck, and we could see more of that next year. The rivalry between Verstappen and Piastri, however, could be just the beginning. With McLaren's Norris also improving and Ferrari pushing hard, the 2025 season might bring a whole new level of competition to the grid. Verstappen will have to find a way to navigate these rising tensions, both on and off the track. One of the more curious aspects of Verstappen's relationship with the FIA is the ongoing swearing controversy. After the infamous radio incident at Baku, Max was caught swearing multiple times, which became a topic of debate. Interestingly, some drivers like Lando Norris and George Russell have been criticized for similar language, yet they haven't faced the same level of scrutiny. This discrepancy has led to discussions about potential bias, especially from the British media. While Verstappen's behavior wasn't ideal, some have pointed out that the FIA's inconsistent enforcement of the rules is a bigger issue. Even Toto Wolff, Mercedes team principal, weighed in, saying that the FIA should be tougher on the swearing incidents. But will Verstappen's behavior lead to more severe penalties, or is this just another media storm? Despite all the tension and drama surrounding Verstappen, it's clear that he's using these challenges as fuel for the future. Whether it's his ongoing rivalry with the FIA or his battles with fellow drivers, Max is a fighter. His comments about getting to 12 super license points and taking a break for paternity leave might have been said in jest, but they highlight his unfiltered nature and his ability to turn frustration into motivation. As the 2025 season looms, Verstappen is likely to have more eyes on him than ever before. Whether he continues to clash with the FIA or if new rivalries start to emerge, one thing is for sure: Max Verstappen won't be backing down anytime soon. As we wrap up this deep dive into Max Verstappen's controversial weekend in Abu Dhabi, it's clear that the drama surrounding him and the FIA is far from over. Whether it's the penalties, his sarcastic remarks, or the ongoing rivalry with other drivers like Piastri, there's no shortage of tension in the world of Formula One. But here's the big question: what does this mean for the future? With 2025 on the horizon, will Verstappen's feuds with the FIA and his competitors keep heating up, or will cooler heads prevail? The increasing pressure from rivals, a possible new teammate at Red Bull, and the stakes of the championship will undoubtedly play a huge role in the drama that's about to unfold. And with Verstappen's unfiltered personality, you can bet that every race will come with a side of controversy, no matter how much he tries to distance himself from the politics. As fans, we've seen Max grow from a young, fiery driver to one of the most dominant forces in the sport. His aggression on the track, his relentless pursuit of perfection, and his unapologetic nature make him both a fan favorite and a lightning rod for criticism. The FIA's stricter regulations and their relationship with Verstappen have only added to the spectacle of Formula One, and it'll be fascinating to see how this plays out over the next few seasons. But what about you? I want to hear your thoughts on this whole situation. Do you think Max Verstappen has gone too far with his comments and reactions, or is he just being real with us? And how do you feel about the FIA's decisions? Are they doing their job, or do they have a bias against certain drivers? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and let's get the conversation going. If you enjoyed this video and want to stay up to date with all the latest F1 news, drama, and analysis, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. We've got plenty more content coming your way, whether it's race breakdowns, driver rivalries, or the latest off-track gossip in Formula One. Oh, and before you go, check out our previous video on Verstappen vs Russell. It's packed with juicy details and analysis you won't want to miss. Click the video on your screen now to keep the conversation going. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Until then, keep racing and stay tuned for more F1 drama.